Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Over the last few years, Florida has seen a handful of these new massive crystal lagoon style swimming pools popping up around the state. If you haven't seen one of these yet, or you don't know what I'm talking about, these are basically like a ginormous swimming pool about the size of a small lake or pond, but filled with chlorinated pool water and surrounded by a sandy beach. They're like a cross between a pool, a beach, and a water park, but where you can swim without worrying about stingrays or alligators. They're so large you can go kayaking in them, and they have lots of other fun amenities like swim-up bars for the grown-ups and floating obstacle courses for the kids. This week my family and I checked out one of these massive lagoon pools for the first time, and I'm going to tell you all about the place and what I liked about the experience and what I didn't. We decided to go here because we had always wanted to check one of these big crystal lagoons out, and because we had recently gone on a Royal Caribbean cruise and had such a great time at their private island, Coco Cay, that we were hoping to kind of recapture that feeling a little bit on a Saturday afternoon and have another day kind of like that. So we went to SouthShore Bay Lagoon in Wimauma, Florida. That's a town just a little bit southeast of Tampa. The company that runs this place is called MetroLagoons, and right now they have one other location open in Wesley, Florida, that's a little bit north of Tampa, and two others that are currently under construction, one in San Antonio, Florida, and the other one in Fort Myers. First off, the lagoon is massive. It covers 5 acres and is about 1,000 feet long from one end to the other, and it's filled with 12 million gallons of water. And just like a real beach, it has a zero depth entry at the edges and then gradually slopes down to 14 feet at its deepest point. The center of the lagoon has a giant bouncy inflatable obstacle course for kids to play on and a big platform to jump off of that was really popular with everybody. This isn't included in the admission though, and it is an extra charge of $12 per person for one 45-minute session that starts at the top of every hour. There's a spot here to rent kayaks and paddleboards, and most of the lagoon is actually roped off and reserved for either the obstacle course or for paddling. If you've never done either one of these, this is probably a really good spot to learn how to kayak or paddleboard for people who want to try it out for the first time. And this is another extra charge. Kayaks and paddleboards both cost $12 per hour to rent. There's a large sandy beach area here with real sand and lots of lounge chairs all over the place that are free to use. Almost none of these are in the shade though, so if you want shade, you need to bring your own umbrella or rent one of theirs for $25. And if you really wanted to spend your day here in style, you can rent your own cabana. Prices for your own cabana range from $179 to $239 for a day. And you can rent your own floating aquabana too for $279 for a day. And there is a more private, quiet VIP area called the Cabana Cove that you have to reserve in advance, and that costs an additional $20 per person. In there you'll get a little bit more privacy, a little more peace, and your own bar. And speaking of bars, there are 3 of them. There's the Lagoon Bar, kind of in the middle of everything. There's the Swim Up Tiki Bar, and the private bar in the Cabana Cove VIP section I was just talking about. Drinks are a little bit on the pricey side. I'd say they were comparable to what you'd expect to pay on a cruise ship for beer and cocktails. I want to say I paid about $7 for a craft IPA and $10 for a pina colada. And of course, there are plenty of food options here. You can eat at the Reef Cafe that has your typical burgers and salads and chicken tenders and stuff like that. Or you can check out one of the many food trucks that are always out here. If you want to get out of the sun for a bit, there is a big shaded area to hang out in with some games like cornhole going on and a large TV screen. And for a while, there was a DJ here playing tunes most of the day. This was on a Saturday. Don't know if the DJ is going to be there a lot on the weekdays, though. And of course, no Florida water park is complete without a water slide. There's 2 of them here at SouthShore Bay Lagoon. There's a permanent one, like the type you've probably seen already and are familiar with in lots of water parks, and this inflatable one that doesn't really splash down into the water. Both of them were really popular all day. So let's start talking about what I liked about the lagoon. The lagoon and beach areas are beautiful and really big. It's pretty impressive just to kind of stand next to it, look out and see this huge man-made body of blue water in front of you. And they did a really nice job with the sandy beaches around it that do make you kind of feel like you're at a little bit of a tropical retreat. There's lots of things for everybody to do. If you want to just hang out in the water, you can do that. If you want to lay out in the sun on the beach or build a sandcastle, you can do that. If If you want to have a drink, there's a swim-up bar, and any place with a swim-up bar is going to be a good time. There's the water slide, there's the obstacle course, you can go kayaking or paddleboarding here, or if you want to get away from the crowds, there's the Cabana Cove that you can duck into for a little bit. The environment and vibe was very fun and high energy if that's what you're looking for. There was a DJ playing live music, and everybody was just out here having a good time. It's not really wild like one of those infamous Las Vegas pool parties, so don't come expecting that, but more like a family-friendly party atmosphere with some tunes spinning and music. And it does sort of give you at least a taste of what it's like on a cruise line's private island. You have the crystal clear blue water in front of you, you have the sand, you have the music, you've got the swim-up bar. It gives you a little taste of that, so if you want to kind of have that private island experience, at least to a degree, without having to get on a cruise ship, you can do that here. The big difference here, though, is that there's no all-you-can-eat buffet included, which you would get on a cruise ship's private island, while here you do need to buy your own food. So that's the good news. Next is the bad news. What didn't I like about the Lagoon? First of all, this is kind of a big one. It's just too expensive. I thought that the entry fee was just too high. Going on a weekend, it's $40 per person, and that's just to get in the place. After you pay $40, everything else is on top of that. So if you want to rent a kayak, it's $12 for 1 hour. If you want to use the obstacle course that's in the middle of the lagoon, it's an additional $12 per hour. And so if you're only paying the $40 to go here, you are just kind of paying for a beach in what is, honestly, at the end of the day, sort of a glorified giant swimming pool. Once you do tack on the extra stuff, say you're going to pay for the kayak and then you're going to pay for the obstacle course, by then you're almost at the same price point as a Disney water park or Universal's Volcano Bay. And when you go there, you get the wave pool, you get the lazy river, you get the water slides. They have their own beach areas. They have their own quiet pools. And you can bring your own food into a water park like Volcano Bay or the Disney water parks, which takes me to the next thing that I really didn't like about this place, and that's that you can't bring in outside food or drinks. This was a really big one for me. I think a big part of spending a day at the beach or a pool is bringing along a cooler of your own food and drinks and then just hanging out and enjoying the day. But you can't do that here. They won't let you bring in any outside food. They won't let you bring in any coolers. They won't even let you bring in like a tumbler full of water. We brought in a tumbler of just ice cold water and they made us dump it out as we walked in. So right away, it kind of put a bad taste in my mouth for what was ready to come. I think a fair comparison here is to look at other Florida water parks and see what their rules are. I know every beach will let you bring your own food and drinks, just no glass, which is totally reasonable. But Volcano Bay at Universal and both Disney water parks do allow outside food in, just no glass. Adventure Island at Busch Gardens and Aquatica at SeaWorld don't allow in outside food, and I'm not a big fan of that policy either. Maybe that's just me being cheap, though, so let me know what you think about that in the comments. Am I being cheap, or do you agree that it's kind of lame that they don't allow outside food to come in here? Another thing that I wasn't wild about is the lack of shady areas. If you want shade and you didn't bring your own umbrella, you have to pay extra for it. Umbrellas are $25 for the day, and cabanas start at $179 for the day. So, again, there's a little bit of nickel and diming there just for shade. And there's just not enough peaceful areas to sit and chill in. I know a lot of us like to go to the party atmosphere at a place like this and listen to the DJ, and that's awesome. But sometimes you just want to go and have a nice, chill, relaxing day at the beach or a chill day at the pool. You don't want to listen to the oonts, oonts, oonts playing, which was kind of hard to get away from here unless, again, you went over to the VIP section and paid $20 to go in there and get away from it. And the swimming and hanging out in the water area was actually fairly small for how huge the lagoon is. The lagoon is large, like I said, it's 5 acres and 1,000 feet long, but most of that is reserved for the paddleboarding, the kayaking, or the obstacle course. There's only a fairly small area here near the swim-up bar and around the island where you could go in and swim in without using the obstacle course or the kayak. And the final question is, would I go back here? And the answer to that, honestly, is probably not. At least not at this price. Not for $40 and then to pay extra for everything else that you want and you can't even bring your own food in. That's kind of a big one for me. I don't think I'd go here at this price, not unless they changed their pricing structure a lot and made it more reasonable and more affordable, especially for a family of 4. It can be pretty expensive to go to a place like this. Now, I'm not saying I didn't enjoy it. I'm not saying I didn't have fun. I did. I actually thought that the lagoon was very fun. I liked hanging out in the water. I loved hanging out on the beach and going to the swim-up bar, and I had a really good day. Just didn't think it was a good value for the money at the end of the day. If they change their pricing to include more stuff, like the obstacle course and kayaking, make it just a one-price-fits-all thing like another water park, which I think is a comparable thing to talk about here, I'd be willing to come back because then I'd feel the value is better. And allowing in outside food would be a big thing that they could do to improve the experience. Anyway, let me know if you've ever been here, if you plan to go here, and let me know if I'm just being a cheapskate about the food and drink thing. We will talk to you next time, and please subscribe for more content about things to do in Florida.